Hi, we are from Spaces Plus Dialogues. We are a group of 3 architects. One is Bhaskar, who is currently not here. He is pursuing his master's in landscape in SEPT. And this is Rajiv, and me myself, Ashia. We have received an award in Silver Leaf as part of our state, Kerala State Awards for non-residential interior project. Our project Mended Skin. It was a renovation and restoration of a skin clinic, which was an 80-year-old building. That's a transformation of the project.
Good evening all. We are a team of 3 architects. One is Bhaskar, who is currently pursuing his master's, so he's not here. And we have Rajiv, and me myself, Ashia. We are from Spaces Dialogues, and we are here to present our project, the Mended Skin. Mended Skin is a story of the transformation and reimagination of an 80-year-old traditional Christian home into a skin clinic. So we had this site and this client who wished for something different. We started off by looking at the aspect of healing, and with over multiple discussions, the idea of healing for both us and the client was a safe and a secure space, which almost always ended up in the idea of a home. It was clear from the start that the interiors had to imbibe the feeling of a home to complete the experience of healing. Located in Chalakudi in Thrissur district, our client and the family is quite prominent in the area, and the ancestral property has stood the test of time, witnessing major changes of that space. It was evident that any intervention we did should be gentle, as the client had emotional attachments with stories and memories associated with every nook and corner. Family had played a pivotal role in the regions of Chalakudi, notably during the famine of 73, where surplus produce was donated, as shown in these file images, which was loaded by the public. Being the ancestral property, our intervention makes no changes to the existing floor layout, adapting the spaces for the functions of the clinic to take over. Respecting the existing major axis, the major functions like the waiting area, reception, and the consultation room are placed along it, with the auxiliary functions, an additional office space, and the operation theatre or the procedure rooms zoned towards the sides. Being one of our initial interior projects with the additional challenge of dealing with a new typology, the project came with multiple hurdles. So we looked at it from the perspective of the visitor. As far as a patient is concerned, a visit to the clinic is a journey. The visitor navigates space to cure their ailment. And we understood that in that journey, there are spaces of rest or prominent spaces. The waiting area, which is the space where the patient waits in anticipation for their turn, and the consultation room, which is the end of the line in terms of space, and start of a new journey in light of the patient.
Spaces are demarcated using the material properties. Prominent spaces, the waiting and the consultation room, which are the spaces that the patient spends the most time in, were given polished stone flooring. The wooden furniture also has been intentionally designed to be light and porous, with an emphasis on its linear elements, which matches with the overall aesthetics of a traditional home. Whereas the reception table is designed as a fixed sculptural object, with the hanging light fixture, a repurposed wooden rafter, which was a leftover we got after doing a bit of scavenging. A distinct feature of microcement coating is used over the walls to serve as a protective skin, with edge detail taking cues to resemble a traditional home. Overall, the color palette chosen is very neutral. Coming back to the journey of the patient, the spaces in motion are the areas that the patient has the least interaction with, but is always presented to the patient during their wait to meet the doctor. These thresholds also help build up to the end destination for them in terms of the function of the clinic. The spaces in between are accentuated with grey and white vitrified tiles laid in a checkered pattern. The buffer room or the Adele room also follows a similar language. The wooden details with dark walnut finish blends well with the other neutral hues of the space. And finally, the consultation room marks the end of the journey, characterized by the polished yellow Jaisana stone. We did mention that this was a transformation, right?
With the 2018 floods adversely affecting not just the structure but also its documented history, we tried to recollect how the transformation could have been from the client's narrative. So we went back in time to find out the evolution of the structure and how the form had evolved over the years. And the home, as we expected, had a typical layout of a traditional Christian home. We looked into how the spaces were used and how the thresholds functioned. How the modification to the form of the structure was made when a small incident resulted in adding RCC roofs to the front, and how the drastic removal of vegetation for the construction of KSRTC depot on the nearby plot resulted in the final change to the form. By the end, the structure looked inconspicuous with its dated modern look of the time.
Apart from the adverse effects of the 2018 floods, the interiors, when we received, had marks of all the changes made over the years, with multiple layers added one atop the other. Our intervention stripped down these multiple layers of additions made to the skin of the building, making minimal changes to what existed. We worked on the surface of the structure, curating finishes to imbibe the feeling of a home, to aid healing and thereby mending the skin of this ancestral home. Following photos show how the exterior has been transformed with minimal interventions to the form and making minor changes to the existing landscape. So, what would have stayed as a private family heirloom is now one of the most accessed clinics in Chalakudy.
The diagram is a summation of thoughts that we had, the story of the journey, the ideas of surface level interventions and other details. Traditional clinics have a distinct, unmistakable aesthetics to them, white everything. It is a very functional approach to design, and often skin clinics are sometimes the flashiest amongst them. So we started with a question: could a clinic have a different aesthetic to it, one which initiates healing? We would like to present Mended Skin as an experiment. Can the perception of a traditional clinic aesthetics be altered? We'll have a small video. Thank you.